Hey everyone, it's Evangeline here at eTrailer, and today we have the Hollywood Racks Destination E electric bike rack, and we're going to take a look at how it fits here on our 2024 Kia Niro. So the Destination E is very popular for people that have those extra heavy bikes. You have a weight capacity of 70 pounds per bike, plus you have a ramp included with this rack, which makes it extra helpful to load and unload those heavier bikes. Now with the Niro, because it does sit a little bit lower to the ground, using that ramp isn't as necessary. Like, it's still very helpful if you're having a really heavy bike, but I have found that I'm still able to easily get the bike onto this rack without even using the ramp. So that might be a plus for you, especially because of this angled design of our rack. Another thing that the Destination is popular for is its tilt-away feature. This has a very extreme tilt, which is awesome for if you need to get into the back hatch of your Niro. So, with your bikes fully loaded, everything locked in, to tilt this away, you just loosen this knob here, enough to where you push it out of its spot. And compared to other racks where you have to brace yourself the moment you release the lever, with the Destination E, you can put your back up against your vehicle and push out, and then this drops to a tilt, allowing you to get access into your cargo space, grab whatever you need. I know a lot of people like to switch out their shoes here before and after their ride. So all those are possible even with your heavy bikes loaded. And from here, you can then just grab your bike's lift up, finding a good spot or good leverage for you to where it pushes up into place, and then go over, and please make sure to put that lever right back in and to tighten everything down before you drive off and away. Now, this bike rack is designed to tilt so far down because it has so many touch points on your bikes holding them in. 4 touch points total. 1, 2, and 3 are going to be your wheel straps, and then the 4th is going to be your locking frame mount. So this is going to be a clamp that goes around different parts of your bikes. I do recommend figuring out the best fit for you ahead of time before your rides. This is also lockable, which is very helpful because then you don't have to deal with cable locks and having to remove them before you drive. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to remove our straps. Notice our front wheel chock. I really like that one. It adds so much stability to the rack. And then you have your other straps over here. So 1 and 2 and 3. Once this pivots up and out of the way, we can then go to the frame mount. At this point, this is when you would attach the ramp. In our case here, I'm not going to do so because it's pretty easy to take our bike off even without it. I'll show you how. First, we unlock our frame clamp here. Once that's loose, we can then just push that out of the way, and then we're just gonna roll our bike down. Most electric bikes, a lot of electric bikes I've seen lately, have their engine or their motor towards the back, so that's gonna be the heaviest part. You can see here that even without the ramp, there wasn't that much height that we had to deal with. We're able to lower our bike to the ground and then go off and away onto the trails. Very easy to do. The ramp is not attached to the rack, but it is included with it. So if you do need it, just make sure to grab it and either put it in your hatch or in your vehicle. This is going to attach to the rear cradles on both sides. So that's what that looks like. All right, with the bike out of the way, we can take a closer look at the rack. Now, this is usually how you would load up your bikes if you wanted to go. What I'm gonna do real quick though, is I'm gonna start putting this into the compact position. That involves putting all these straps away, making sure everything's secured, and then I'm also going to lower our mast. It involves pulling these straps, flipping these levers. There's a lot to it. And then we're gonna bring this whole mast down and then secure it right back in. So compared to your more premium racks, this definitely has a lot more touch points and things you have to do, but I kind of like it. This means that I have a really secure fit on everything, plus spending an extra 30 seconds putting stuff away is worth the much reduced price compared to your premium racks. Let's talk about clearances. First is going to be the length this adds to the back of the Niro from the bumper to the end of the bike rack when in the ready to drive position. It's going to be 31 inches, so that's over to the trace. That's a measurement to keep in mind when you get back into your garage or if you need to park into a tight spot. The Niro doesn't take up much space, so that's really nice. You have a lot more to work with. The next measurement is ground clearance. So end of the rack to the ground, I have it about 15 inches. On this other end, towards the center, that's 19 inches. Comparing that to the shank, which is about 9 inches up and off the ground, there is a lot more ground clearance with this, helpful if you have those steep inclines, but also not too high up where it makes it tricky to load those heavier bikes. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put this into the compact position. So there's going to be this pin and clip towards the center of your mast. I took out the little leash thing, so we fully removed the pin, but that will just hang there in most situations. This is just going to push up towards the Niro. There is a stopper here, so you don't have to worry about it going too far towards the car. We're going to put that pin right back into its proper spot, making sure it's securing our rack here towards the top. Double check it, give it a good shake, and that's going to be your portable position. Let's take some more measurements here. From the bumper to the end of the rack, this now sits at 13 and a half inches. Big difference compared to when it was folded down. This is how you'll have it when you're driving around town. A great perk of this is that even with that mast, it still sits pretty low on your car, right by that windshield wiper, so you'll have pretty good visibility out of your rear window. Your taillights are visible, your license plate is technically covered, and then your backup camera does sit right where that reflector is. So you are going to lose a lot of visibility out of that specific camera, so that is something to be mindful of. The Niro's camera has a very wide angle though, so you will still sort of be able to see underneath the rack and around it to the side. But if that visibility is a big issue for you, you can go ahead and drive around with it in a down position. You are going to need a hitch receiver for this, and specifically a 2-inch hitch receiver. If you don't already have one on your Niro, you can find one that is custom fit for you. This is how you tighten it down. And then there's a lock for it too that matches the lock on the frame mounts. Well, with all that being said, it is definitely a feature-rich bike rack. I really like it. I don't like so much the extra work I have to put into putting the bike on and strapping everything down, but I do like how once it is there, it's good to go and I know it's safe. Now, something that might be comparable to this rack would be the Inno Tire Hold HD with the purchased extra ramp, or even without the ramp, because this car sits so low you might not even need it. That one is going to be a good option if you don't like all the extra straps you have to deal with. The Tire Hold HD is a dual wheel mount rack that's also very solid. That one has an even greater weight capacity than the Destination. Now the downside though is that you don't have as deep of a tilt as you can get with the Destination. If you want hatch access and a solid bike rack for your electric bikes, this bike rack is going to be a great option for you. This was a look at the Hollywood Racks Destination E, and you saw it on the 2024 Kia Niro.
Here on our test course, we'll start by going through the Solemn. This is going to show us the side-to-side action, which simulates turning corners and evasive maneuvers. Then we get to the alternating speed bumps. We'll see the twisting action. This will simulate hitting a curb or pothole or driving on uneven pavement. Then we'll go over the full speed bumps, and we can see the up and down action. This will be like driving in and out of a parking lot, garage, or a driveway.